UFC Hall of Famer, Matt. Oh, no, wait.
I wish. I'd be worth a lot more money.
That wasn't accurate.
UFC connoisseur.
That's the one.
That's the one.
That's the one. Matt Connell.
What's going on, buddy?
Well, you know, episode 4.
I watched UFC 6.
Oh, you did your homework.
I did all of it.
I like it. You watched it today, didn't you?
I watched it today.
Yeah.
I need a fresh memory.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with coming in right at the buzzer.
That was the craziest thing I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah.
Why was fucking Jim Brown commenting on UFC fights?
You know, I want to, eventually your homework is going to be UFC 1. And right at the start of it, Superfoot Bill Wallace, he was an old-time kickboxer, kind of guy, American kickboxing. Superfoot Bill Wallace. And on the very first broadcast, right away, he lets out a big fucking burp. That's how the UFC started, was Superfoot Wallace and his big fucking burp.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was great.
Perfect.
Yeah, we will talk about UFC 6. But first, I want to direct your attention to my wall here. I don't know if you...
I did see that.
See what I got up here.
A young Mark Splood.
A young Mark Splood with a young Matt Serra.
I was going to say skinny Matt Serra, but
yeah,
you could say young.
This picture was taken shortly after Matt Serra lost the title in the rematch to George St. Pierre. I
heard him just talking about that on Unfiltered, actually.
Yeah. And that was a great fucking weekend, man. And spent the weekend with Matt Serra, ate pizza with him, trained with him. He actually pulled my groin.
Was that
not what you think? Not what you think. But
was that in Edmonton? Was it?
No, that was actually in Mississauga, Ontario.
Oh, in Ontario.
Yeah. It was Weekend of Warriors or some fucking thing.
That's a crazy time.
Yeah.
You couldn't get him to sign it, or is that just a photo that you printed?
That's just a photo I printed. Listen, okay. I'm not into autographs.
You know what? I'm not really an autograph guy either.
Nah, I don't give a shit about them, you know?
I think I would if it was, like, there's a handful of athletes or superstars, I guess, out there that I would.
Right.
But it may be 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
Like Aaron Rodgers. I'm such a big Packers fan that I'd be way too upset at myself if I saw
What are we
him.
talking about? We're talking about Packers and pulling groins? I don't know what the fuck we're getting into here.
Yeah, this is the SCRAPCast. We might have to change the name of it.
Yeah, we might have to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I'd put that picture up today. Matt got put into the Hall of Fame. Well, let's get right into the fucking UFC from this past weekend.
About that. And I texted you about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about it.
Well, that was fucking huge. For me, it was cool. I'm a huge fan of Matt Serra, man. I fucking love him. The thing I love about Matt, I've always been a fan of Matt. But once I met him, man, just the nicest fucking dude you can imagine. And talk about funny, man. I don't know if you ever saw, he actually on an episode of Dana White Looking for a Fight did stand-up comedy.
I saw that.
At the, where was it?
Laugh Factory?
Laugh Factory,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And fucking killed, man. He had all this great Rocky shit.
Yeah, he killed, but the other guy you told me, I think he already was doing comedy.
Dean Thomas, yeah.
Dana didn't even go up.
Oh, Dana went up and he fucking crushed. They laughed at everything he said because they were all there to see Dana.
I thought he backed out.
No.
What did he back out of?
No, he didn't back out, but what he did was cheat. He had Tony Hinchcliffe write all his fucking shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew there was something shady.
He didn't have to do anything. The crowd would have loved him anyway.
Speaking of Tony Hinchcliffe, and we were just talking about fanboying a little bit.
Right.
I'm a big Hinchcliffe fan.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch Crashing, obviously?
Yes.
We talked about that.
Yeah, I'm about 3 or 4 episodes behind right now.
Okay, well, he's on one of the episodes.
Right.
I won't tell you where.
Yeah.
And I just tweeted fucking Tony Hinchcliffe killing it on Crashing, whatever.
Right.
And he liked my tweet.
Nice.
And I acted like a 12-year-old girl.
No, you didn't.
Well, not publicly.
Right.
But in my heart, I acted like a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
girl.
yeah.
I was telling my fiance, I was telling my boys, I was like, and they were excited. Which
that's funny because I thought I was one of your boys, Matt, and you didn't fucking tell me. So I guess you're telling me now. This
is a while ago. This is before you invited me on the podcast.
All right.
I guess.
Well, that's cool.
Well, I'm telling you this.
Yeah, maybe you should get his autograph.
No,
you know?
See, he's not in my top 5.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So let's start with Matt and his fighter Merab.
So I watched that fight just today because I didn't watch the prelims.
Right.
But you told me about some crazy, weird finish.
Yeah.
So with the Fight Pass, I said, well, I'm already on here, and I just finished UFC 6. So I go, man, I may as well just watch this fight.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it entirely. I kind of skipped through points and kind of got to where the meat and potatoes was, where this whole controversy was, just so I could kind of make my own judgment on it, I guess. Yeah. But what did you take on it?
So
do you think the ref got it right?
no, I think the ref got it wrong.
I don't know the rule.
I think the ref got it wrong. I think the commission got it wrong. Now, I will say this: probably the right guy won the fight, even though Merab dominated the most of the fight.
Yeah.
When he went for that final takedown, he actually knocked himself out. He banged his head on the fucking mat and knocked himself out, and that's how Simone was able to flip him over.
And he's just kicking his leg, doing the bicycle.
Yeah, he was kicking his legs.
Christ.
He was thumbs up.
Yeah.
I think he went unconscious a couple times. I really do. So I don't hate it that Simone won. I just hate the way it went down. This guy survived to the buzzer, right? The fight is over. The ref taps them both at the same time to say, fight's done, guys.
After the bell.
And then after the fact, they scored a fucking TKO for Simone.
And you...
It was, to me, it's fucking crazy. Now, I will say, Mark Goddard, who's a very trusted ref, and Big John McCarthy both came out and said that's the right call. I disagree. For me, if you can make it to that fucking final buzzer, right?
Exactly.
I mean, then you got to go to the
saved by the
scorecards.
bell.
You can't after the fact. Like, the referee fucked up. He should have stopped it. There was a point, I thought, where there were maybe 7 or 8 seconds left where Merab was sure he was kicking his feet. But his arms were completely out. He was
limp.
Yeah, he was limp.
Oh, yeah.
The ref should have stopped it right there, and there would have been none of this fucking controversy. No one would have given him a hard time for it, even if your legs are moving. Man, I've seen some people do wacky shit when they're unconscious.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Alistair Overeem was literally standing, or like his every limb was in the air when Francis knocked him.
Yeah. But I mean, I've seen, I've seen guys, and here's something else too. When the fight was stopped, he seemed to go out for a second, right at the end.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you've been fighting and you're only getting a little bit of air, and then that chokehold comes off. I've seen it before in jiu-jitsu clubs. When that hold comes off and you get that rush of oxygen, that can knock you out for just a second. Getting that much air into your fucking lungs
it would be
can knock you out.
It'd be similar to just like being upside down for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And then you stand up and you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Everything's dizzy let my brain just relax for a second. I agree with you as the call was wrong. See, for me, when it comes to sports, I tend to be one of those guys that I'll just follow the rule. And so I can say the rule's dumb, but maybe the ref got it right because of the rule. I don't know the rule. The only thing I could think of anywhere similar to this in my memory was Bisping Anderson Silva.
Right.
And when Anderson Silva hit him with that flying knee and knocked Bisping the fuck out right before the bell.
Yeah.
And then he got saved by the bell.
That's right.
And then they started round 3.
Yeah.
So why wasn't that a TKO?
Exactly.
When this one was a guillotine TKO or whatever the fuck it was. I don't know how to make a chokehold TKO.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what Mark Goddard said. He said they got it wrong in a way because it should have been a submission.
Right. At the very least.
At the very least. But I don't know, man. I don't like it. And I felt for Matt Serra because, I was pulling for Merab for Serra because Serra corners him, Crazy night for Serra. So anyway, I don't know. I mean, if all the most trusted refs are coming out and saying it's the right fucking call, how do you argue with it? But for me, if this guy survived to the fucking last buzzer, you got to go to the scorecards, man. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah, I agree.
I do. I think the right guy won the fight. I think Simone, at the end of the fight, I think he had him unconscious. I don't hate that he won. I just don't like. Here's what I'm going to say. I hate that fucking ref.
Yes.
And he fucked up a few things.
It's that little
night.
short fuck, isn't it?
No, not that
Isn't
weird fucking roided up dog.
Oh,
No, not that fucking guy.
I thought it was him.
No, it was the taller guy with the beard. Liam Kerrigan is his name.
Here's my biggest issue with it, I think if it was the first or second round when that happened, they're starting the next round.
I think you're absolutely right.
I don't think it's a stoppage.
Yeah.
I think, okay, let's go. But because it was the end of the fight, I don't know.
It'd be much more interesting if that did happen after the second round to see how they would have handled
Well,
that.
the only other experience we have is Silva Bisping.
Yeah.
And it was the end of the. Oh, I guess they had a 5-round fight.
They had a 5-round fight.
So it wasn't the last round, regardless.
Yeah.
And the next round started, and then fucking Silva ended up winning the fight.
Yeah.
Or Bisping ended up winning the fight after Silva KO'd him in the third round or second round, whatever it was.
There's been a few wacky things where people thought they knocked people out and jumped up on top of the cage and celebrating, and the ref pulled them down and restarted the fight.
Silva was like on top of the cage.
Yeah,
and everything.
there's been a few crazy instances like that. I don't know. It was weird. I didn't like it. I think if you make that call, you got to make it while he is unconscious. You know, you can't wait till after the fucking fight.
I think it would have been better.
That's what bothers me.
It would have been better for the ref to, with 4 seconds left, just do a stoppage and deal with the criticism of, was he out? Was he not out? Versus making a TKO finish.
That
after
TKO business. Fucking ridiculous.
While the judges are trying to score the card, like, it just made no sense. It made no sense.
Man, I wish the UFC would stay out of New York, stay out of New Jersey. These officials, these fucking commissions, they're all fucking wacky. Wacky shit happens there every fucking time.
Yeah, New Jersey, New York.
Jersey, New York. Stay the fuck out of there. But they make big money there. But anyway, I felt for Matt Serra. And then after that, they announced that they're inducting Matt Serra into the Hall of Fame. I was over the fucking moon. I'm like, yes, about goddamn time.
You got over it real quick.
But the crazy thing was, so now, Serra cornered Merab and went through that whole fucking Merab debacle.
Right.
And then minutes later, he's inducted into the Hall of Fame. He's doing this fucking interview with the Broad backstage. Well, immediately after that interview, he's walking back to the cage to corner fucking Aljo Sterling.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
It was funny to see him stand in the corner before that fight, while they were announcing Aljo. And he just looked like he was fucking lost. Like, Jesus, what a crazy fucking night for Matt Serra.
Trying to talk to a couple of the other coaches, being like, so, what's been said so far?
Yeah.
Because he probably missed a lot.
I'm sure he did.
What are you going to do? Not put Matt Serra in your corner?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's got to be there.
He's got to be there.
So listen, that was a great fucking event. Let's get right to it.
Oh yeah, you got these picks, eh?
I got some notes to go over from the event, and I got the fucking pick sheet this week,
Oh
Matt.
yeah, ironically.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Yeah, one of us did a little better than the other this week.
Yeah, you got lucky.
And it might be the guy who's in charge of the pick lists.
Yeah, we might have to change that. That's why I made this binder.
Oh, I see. Okay. I got to get a photocopy. I think this printer behind me maybe copies shit. I'm not sure, but.
Probably just needs ink.
So here we go. So the first fight, Hooker versus Miller.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ. What was your take?
It was a beatdown.
Yeah.
It was a beat. It was ugly.
Yeah. That knee was thunderous.
Man.
That knee was fucking crazy. I don't think he needed that little walk by fucking right hook to the fucking jaw after. I mean, he was out, man.
That was one of the, that was weird, man. It was unfair.
Yeah.
It was an unfair fight.
Yeah. And right away, physically, it looked unfair. Like, Hooker looked like he was at least 2 weight classes above Miller.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when Miller started out in 155, pretty much everybody was that size. There was the odd freak guy. There was tall guys like Corey Hill and like Nate Diaz. But most of the guys at 155 were that size, And then you look at a guy like Hooker, he's a fucking giant. And most of the fucking lightweights now are like that. So, tough night for Jim Miller, man. It's a passing of the guard. We've seen it, since we started this podcast, we've seen it how many times with Joe Lozon, with Carlos Condit, now Jim Miller. It's
the tide of the new beast they're in now.
Yeah.
I think it's because these guys have now been training MMA training.
Yeah.
Like pure, like actual great MMA training since they were kids at this point.
Yeah.
The professionals now.
Well, not only that, and comedy is like this in a way too, where there's a lot of content to watch, right? So people are, have years of MMA to watch now. So, they're watching all that. They're adding shit fucking to it. Yeah, man, it's interesting. Hooker is a fucking killer, and they need to feed him a top 5 opponent.
They need to feed him. They need to give him a test.
Yeah. Next. You know who I'd like to see? I'd like to see Barboza and Hooker. That's an interesting fight.
And they fought on the same card.
Yeah.
So that is a great fight, actually.
Yeah, I like that.
And it's a good possible bounce back for Barboza, or it's a possible, uprising
surge
Hooker.
forward for Hooker.
It's a great matchup.
I like it.
You may have called that.
Yeah,
actually.
well, listen. I thought I was going to get Joe Silva's job. He was the old matchmaker. When he left UFC, I was waiting for the call.
No.
A week went by, and I was starting to sweat it. I'm like, when are they going to call? Like, they need somebody.
They should have. You would have had that card, right?
Right? Who doesn't want to see that?
But you'd have Ortega fighting fucking everyone.
I'd have him fighting everyone.
That got announced, too.
I know. We're going to talk about announcements. Let's get through this. We got a lot of shit to talk about.
I was going to say, there was a lot of great announcements.
John Jones and DC have been ganging up against Gustafson on Twitter. We got a lot of shit to fucking talk about.
I haven't really been following that. I followed it a little bit.
That's okay. I got screenshots.
Perfect.
I got stuff. We'll talk about that. So, yeah, I mean, it's I don't know what I have for notes for Hooker and Miller. Listen, I actually thought I got to commend both Jim Miller and Hooker, because Jim tried his fucking best, man. He was hanging in there on the feet for the first little while, and Hooker's got a fucking chin on him, man, because Jim was cracking him.
Yeah.
He was cracking him. So hats off to Hooker. He's got the fucking chin, and he's got the power. He's got the length, the range. He's a total package.
And that's already a stacked division, too.
Yeah.
That lightweight division, probably the best division in all of UFC, I would think.
You know who else is in that division? And this could be the next fight, too. I'm calling for Barboza, but it could be Felder. I don't know if you saw after the fight.
Oh, right.
Hooker called out Felder, who was interviewing him in the fucking cage.
Right, and he says the first time it ever happened. I've been waiting for someone to do that.
Yeah,
so
that was interesting.
They may do that, but I think Barboza's. I think him beating Barboza is more, I don't know, eye appealing to, I guess, fans.
Yeah,
I think if beating Barboza allows him to elevate a little higher.
Yeah, Felder's not quite as known now.
Yeah,
yeah. But he will be, man. I'd like to see Felder fight somebody, decent next too, right?
He's probably going to fight soon.
Maybe they'll run Iaquinta back. Maybe they'll run that back. That was supposed to happen when Iaquinta moved up to fight Khabib.
Do you think, or is Iaquinta now going to try to fight more a higher top tier guy?
I don't know. I say he goes back and fights Felder. That's what I'd like to see. Because that's a fun fucking fight, first of all.
Yeah. I'm just thinking now, what if you did... I'm thinking Conor versus Khabib.
Right. That's not going to happen soon.
I know.
That's not going to happen soon.
Come on.
No. I want it to. I do, but...
I know.
Yeah.
I want that to happen so bad. But then I'm thinking you can put Tony up there then. Tony can fight someone like Al. Al can... try to earn a rematch for that belt.
Al's not ready.
Maybe
First
not.
of all, I mean, he was the number 11 ranked fucking guy when they brought him up.
But
I think he goes. Yeah, I agree, but I think his stock goes up to maybe say a number 9, right? you rank him at number 9, right? I mean, he had a good showing against Khabib, but he didn't do a whole fucking lot.
But Khabib couldn't even finish him.
That's true. That's true. Al's a tough fucking guy, man.
Yeah, Khabib.
I say you put him at number 9. You have him fight Felder, and yeah.
Maybe have him fight Hooker. Fuck, let's have them all fight. Let's have like UFC 6 style. Let's have a tournament style where these guys just fucking fight each other every 10 minutes.
How great was that tournament?
That was, what I liked the most about it? It's just constantly were fights.
Yeah.
And the quick fights.
Yeah, quick turnarounds,
till the end.
Yeah. But we're gonna talk about some shady fucking shit that happened in that tournament too.
So I don't know about that.
Oh, well, you should know because you watched it. You should know.
Yeah.
But I'll refresh you. But anyway,
a lot of the stuff, I was like half doing other things and listening.
Right.
So I had headphones in. So sometimes I'd be away from the laptop listening to what was happening.
Here we go. Jesus.
I got shit to do, bro.
So Aljamain Sterling and Brett Johns.
This was a great fight.
Great fight, man.
This one
These guys look like a mirror image, except one was black and one was white.
Yeah.
They were like a mirror image.
And the black
a
guy
mirror match.
Veiled.
Yeah.
He showed
big time. He dominated. That was a dominant win against a guy who was unbeaten and unbeaten in the UFC as well. Like just unbeaten.
I didn't see that coming at all. Not that I could see Sterling winning, but it seemed to be just a one. It was almost like the Hooker fight without a finish.
Yeah.
It was just one-sided. It was a one-sided fight.
It was, man. Johns is tough. I mean, he hung in there. There was no fucking quit in him. But yeah, that was all Aljo, man. And I'm happy to see it, man. He's going to be a fucking contender in that division.
He didn't slow down either.
Not for a second.
No,
and if you look at Matt Serra, the two fighters he had on there, you take Merab and you take Aljo. Oh, yeah. Those guys set such a fucking ridiculous pace in their fights. Like Merab never fucking stopped in his fight.
They have to train like that.
They train like fucking animals there, man. Happy for Matt Serra. Happy that he right after getting inducted in the Hall of Fame, he got the big win for Aljo. I mean, he's been working with Aljo for years, right?
Yeah.
And that was really cool, man. I was happy for Matt Serra. Happy for Aljo.
Aljo's
Great
good
fucking
on the mic
fight,
too.
man.
Actually, was good on the mic.
Oh yeah.
He's good on the mic. Real good on the mic.
Oh,
I watched a little bit of his fights, but.
Yeah, he's a prelim guy, right? He was really starting to make some noise, and then he had a couple losses.
And they don't always give those prelim guys interviews in the fight night cards either, right?
That's right.
On pay-per-view nights, they usually do, but if it's on just a fight night card, a lot of the prelim wins don't even get interviews after.
Well, I'll tell you, if the Hooker and Miller fight had gone the distance, they probably don't interview Aljo.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Trying to stay
without
on
that
pace,
extra, without that extra time, they'd probably say no, skip the interviews and fucking keep it moving, right? Great fight, and then so. Well, let's start with our picks. All right. So here we go. We'll go back.
I was trying to get right by that.
No, it's fine. We're gonna go back to Hooker Miller. We both had it right.
Yes, we did. Kind of.
But you thought it was gonna be a decision. I picked the third round TKO for Hooker. We were both wrong. He blasted Jim Miller. But listen, man, that was not. Those were good picks that we made because Miller's a durable fucking guy.
I thought
it's just sometimes. Your fucking time is up.
It just gets it, man.
You know what I mean? Your time, and it sucks for Miller because he's fighting in Jersey, hometown, and all that shit. He's got nothing to be ashamed of, man. Miller's a fucking animal.
Better.
But he is now officially a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And it's, it pains me to say that, but I'll be honest though. Really, Miller's kind of always been that gatekeeper.
Yeah.
He's never won the big fights.
I don't know much
He's
about
never
him.
challenged for the title, unfortunately. So
He's like that guy that I always see his name.
Yeah.
But I never like hear anything.
He's the
about
best of the B-list fighters.
him. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That's what he was. But he's gonna fall off from that pretty soon too. So anyway, we both had that right. We just had the the round and the finish wrong. Johns and Sterling, we both fucked this one up, bud. I mean, you take an undefeated,
right.
you take an undefeated guy like Johns, and man, he's been so goddamn impressive. And
I thought you picked Aljo for a second.
when I heard about that calf slicer, I was all over it.
I know.
So I picked
saw
first
that
round
too.
sub. I picked first round sub against Matt Serra's guy. And we got it wrong. You picked first round TKO.
Right.
We both fucked up that one. So here we go on to the third
losers.
fight. David Branch against Moreta Santos. Man,
That was rough.
I got to tell you, I thought it was going to go the other way. If it was going to be a knockout. Now, I didn't pick Santos. Luckily, I picked right.
Yeah, you went out on a branch.
Yeah, I went out on it. That's right. I went out on a branch.
Fuck.
And, I picked Branch by decision. First round KO, man, that was some fucking fight. That was just, man, Branch is making a fucking statement.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
I thought he killed Thiago.
Yeah.
I thought he killed him.
Yeah, man.
I was like, I just saw death.
It was vicious.
cool.
It was fucking vicious. And a lot of people with Branch, when he fought Luke Rockhold, they said, "Oh, this is a warm, a tune-up fight for Luke." People don't give Branch the fucking credit, man. He's a killer. He was a 2-division fucking champion in World Series of Fighting. 2 divisions.
Yeah, he sold me.
Yeah,
He sold me.
I think he sold fucking everybody Saturday night.
Man.
And
you
vicious.
could tell that he
knockout.
hears those things too. You could see just in his reaction after he fucking knocked him out.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm not here to
Now,
play.
and now, Matt, listen, we're supposed to be sharing the
I
space
know.
underneath
I
the table.
know.
Not only are you not sharing with me, you're fucking kicking me, and my feet are back from the fucking table.
I should have 70% of the length.
No, you shouldn't.
Where I carry
no,
70%.
no, this isn't fucking edibles with your wife, bud. This is my fucking house.
Motherfucker.
Jesus Christ. Vicious.
You need a longer studio.
Yeah, something. I need something. Vicious fucking
That was-
knockout, man.
it
That was
was
impressive.
crazy.
Yeah. Branch in the middleweight division. I can't wait. I can't wait to see who they're going to pair him up with. I don't know.
Well, now I'm actually excited to see him fight again. Like the next time I see his name on a fight card,
Yeah.
I'm going to be interested to make sure I go watch him fight.
Branch is funny, man, because sometimes he'll wrestle fuck people, and you're like, I don't want to see this guy fight again. And then sometimes he'll just pick someone up and slam them unfucking conscious or fucking knock them unconscious. I mean, he's you never know what you're getting, man. But I'm a fan. I want to see his next fight.
How'd you think about the heavyweight fight
Jesus
right
Christ,
afterwards?
man. So Willis versus Sherman, crazy chin on Sherman.
Yes. Holy
mean,
shit, yes.
Holy
Because even when
fuck, man, he
Willis
got
was
rocked.
gassed.
Yeah.
His punches still seemed to have.
Oh, he still had the power.
But fuck, he was slow.
Sherman was just eating them, man, like he was starving.
I thought he was getting KO'd.
I think everyone did.
I think that's what we both picked.
He got fucking rocked,
I think
man. He was separated from his senses 7 or 8 times in that fucking fight, man. What a chin on that guy. Obviously, both guys had fucking dog shit defense.
Yeah, none of them gave.
Wasn't
shit about
very
defense.
technical. It was just a couple fucking heavyweights going at it. Very, very entertaining fight.
Yeah, I think that was, if I remember right, the only time they went to the ground was just to lay there for a bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see a rematch of that motherfucker. That was
Really?
I would. I would
I don't
like to
see me. I was like, I think my expectations were a little higher.
Yeah.
Being a
How
heavyweight
so?
fight.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe just no finish.
Yeah.
I just hate when big fucking fat guys gas. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. Well, but you know what? Sometimes
Because I don't want to hear excuses. Because Roy Nelson, he doesn't gas.
Yeah. Well, if you look at one of my favorite fights of all time was Mark Hunt versus Antonio Silva, Bigfoot Silva.
I
The
watched
first
that
one.
fight. That was insane.
That was an insane fight.
That
They
was
were
an
both
insane
tired after the first round, and they fucking pushed through and smashed each other. That was a little bit of what happened with Willis and Sherman, and I fucking loved it, man. I dug it. I would watch it again.
For the first
And,
9 minutes, I was heavily in. And then the back half, I was like,
yeah.
I'd like to see.
Well, they started to slow down, throw
Yeah.
a fewer punches.
I started looking towards the next fight. You know?
Yeah.
I knew Frankie was up, and I was like, all right, I'm done with these guys now. There's no KO. Fucking all right. I don't need these guys to just hump each other for another 3 minutes until one of them gets their hand raised for a decision.
Yeah, right. All right. But fucking,
I'm a hard judger, man.
Yeah, fucking harsh critic, bud.
it's
Jesus
millennials.
Christ.
Millennials, Mark.
This is your weight class, is it not?
Well, yeah, I guess now.
I love how you look down at your stomach.
Where does it
That
start?
was beautiful.
What is it, 235?
It starts at 206.
Oh, does it really?
Yes, it does.
Yes, I would be.
206 to 265.
Okay,
That's-
I'd be. So I'm 235.
Yeah. So you're right around, Stipe.
Yeah,
Those
I don't
guys.
look like Steve.
No, you don't. You sure fucking don't, buddy. It's not like you're fighting fires on your
I'm more
fucking
like
time off.
I'm more like Roy Nelson.
Yeah. Not quite that bad.
No, I guess
You're more like Sherman.
Yeah. Well, Sam called me a skinny Seth Rogen, so I took it as a compliment.
That's not bad.
Just for the skinny part.
Sure. Yeah, that's not bad.
But I took it on set last night. So.
I actually think Seth Rogen right now is in better shape than you.
Yeah, now he is.
Yeah, right
Clearly, Sam Lehman hasn't had cable for a while. So.
Did you watch that Hilarity for Charity?
I did watch it.
You did watch it?
The only thing I really laughed at was the Rick and Morty
Cartoon.
Yeah. And I fucking died.
I got to tell you, that's the only thing I watched.
I had to pause it afterwards because I was crying. I was laughing so
That was
hard.
crazy.
I was fucking.
That was great. Let's not ruin it for anybody. But you don't have to watch the special because honestly, it's fucking
Garbage.
dog shit.
Fucking garbage.
But you got to see that cartoon, and it's right after John Mulaney's set,
You
right?
probably just go on YouTube now and find that.
No, you can't.
Really?
No, you can't. I
Okay.
tried.
Fuck.
I
Okay.
tried. Yeah.
Well, it's on Netflix. Just fast forward till you get to.
Yeah, it's the end of. I think it happens right after John Mulaney's set, which I heard was good, but I didn't watch
As soon
that.
as I saw the fucking Muppets or
But that
whatever,
cartoon.
I was out. As soon as I
Yeah.
saw the Muppets, I'm like, I'm not in this anymore. But Shelby was still on to watch, so we finished it.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
Ah,
But-
Jesus.
but-
that cartoon
That
was
worked out
fucking
because when
something.
that cartoon happened,
Yeah.
I was fucking dying.
Man, I couldn't believe it. And people kept telling me to watch it, and I kept putting it off, and I don't know why, because I'm the biggest Rick and Morty fan going, and I love cartoons,
Right.
and I love Seth Rogen.
Well, as soon as he said the creators of Rick and Morty, I look over at Shelby and I go, "This can be good.
Now we
This
got
gonna be
something.
good."
Now we got something.
And then it did not let down at all.
And at first I was like, yeah,
okay.
right, yeah, this is
They had fun with it.
And then, oh boy,
yeah. Can't-
as it played out,
we can't
we're not
give-
gonna
we
say
can't
anything.
give it.
You gotta see it. You
Holy
gotta go fucking back and watch
fuck, it
it.
was
Anyway,
crazy.
I don't know how the fuck that came up. But,
I don't know how either.
I don't know how. But anyway, let's move on to the co-main event.
Yes.
We got a lot of shit to fucking get to today, so.
I got this one wrong. But this was my.
Okay, so
this
let's
is
go
my
to
hot
the
take.
Yeah, let's go to the pick. Oh, that's right.
This was my hot take.
Yeah, this is gonna be embarrassing for you.
Yeah.
We both had Willis. We both picked KO. I picked a second round KO. You picked a first round KO.
Edgar wasn't-
We got the winner right.
Yeah.
But just so in case people are keeping track, I'm ahead right now in the picks.
yeah.
All right.
Well, not if you count last week.
We
just don't
I don't
count
have the
that?
sheet. I don't have the sheet
Oh
for
my
last week.
God.
But so,
I'll go back and I'll write it down for you.
No, it's not necessary. You know what I think we should do though?
Or no.
You know what I think we should do? I think we should put a loony on all these fucking.
I'm in.
You know what I mean? And then just tally it up, right? Even if we never pay it, Matt. Something interesting, right?
I'll probably just
You
call
owe me
you.
$30 fucking dollars. Something. It's
As soon as he gets to $14, that's who's got to go get a case of beer.
yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's who's paying for the Modelo that week.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Edgar and Swanson. Man, this was a good fucking fight. It wasn't a great fight, but it was a very good fight. I actually thought the first one was a lot more exciting.
Yeah, this was easy to judge.
Yeah. Very easy to judge.
There's a lot of easy to judge fights on this card.
Yeah. Cub's a great fighter, man. But Frankie, despite that fucking flash knockout from Brian Ortega, is still the top of that fucking weight class. And Cub is not. Cub is very
I
close,
don't
man.
think
I love him.
Frankie's good enough to win the belt.
He's not.
I don't think
he's not, and he hasn't been since he's gone to that division. But he is good enough to challenge for it, fucking pretty much every time.
Yeah, he's the new Uriah favorite.
Frankie Edgar has always been a fucking problem because he's either the champion or he's the guy who should be fighting the champion.
Right.
But since he dropped down to 145, since he lost the title at 155, he hasn't been able to beat any champions. But he beats every fucking buddy else, and that's a problem for the UFC.
He's the
It's a big problem.
He's the 145 Uriah favorite.
Yeah, and the only guy to solve that problem has been Brian Ortega.
Oh, he fucking.
You know what I mean? Because Dana puts Frankie in there, Brian Ortega. If anyone's going to stop Ortega before he gets to Max, it's going to be Frankie. And Ortega fucking just, he fucking buzzed on him.
Frankie's like the elite gatekeeper.
Yeah, man. He can't even call him a gatekeeper.
He's almost like
he's not there yet.
He's just kind of that last guy to see if someone gets a title shot or not.
Yeah.
Right? If you beat Frankie, okay, you definitely deserve a title shot.
Yeah.
And then if Frankie mows through a couple guys, then we'll just give him a title shot every 3 wins.
I don't think he sees another title shot. I could be fucking wrong though, man. The guy's a killer. I want to credit Cub because Cub did a great job keeping this fight where he wanted it to be. He wasn't, Frankie wasn't able to take him down or hold him down. That's how I thought this fight was going to go. I figured 3 rounds, right? Like, I mean, Frankie usually fights 5 rounds.
I was right about the banger. That's the only thing I was.
It was a fucking banger.
It was the only thing I was right
It
about.
was a fucking banger.
Yeah.
And I was surprised because I figured 3 rounds, Frankie's going to fucking hit the gas, drive him into the fucking cage, pull his legs out from underneath him, and just stay on top the whole time. Probably not finish him, right? But you got to give Cub a lot of credit because Frankie tried to do just that, and Cub was having none of it. And Cub was landing here and there, but Frankie was smart. He closed the distance. He didn't get... Cub loves a little bit of distance, so he can throw some wacky shit. Right. You know, he's real unorthodox.
Edson style.
Yeah, Edson style. Yeah, exactly. And actually a little prettier even, I think, than Edson. But we'll get to that fucking wheel kick too coming up.
I can't wait.
But yeah, Frankie was smart. He smothered him. He stayed close enough to him. Frankie stayed in Frankie's range rather than Cub's range, and that's how he won the fight. It wasn't super exciting, but it was a great fucking stand-up battle, man. I enjoyed the shit out of it.
I enjoyed that fight a lot.
Yeah.
I liked all 15 minutes of it, really.
Yeah.
It was a great fight. It was, like I said, easy to judge, as in no one was wondering who was winning that fight.
Yeah.
But it was still just nice to see those guys go at it. It's one of those things where it's good to see both those guys going to be able to fight again.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be fun to see Cub fight again. It's going to be fun. I don't know what they're going to do with Frankie, I guess.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Cub can fight at all after that fight that he had with that Korean fella.
That was insane.
Do Choi or whatever the fuck. Yeah,
that
that was an insane fight. Might be the best fight ever. It might be.
I think that got fight of the year.
Definitely in that weight class. It's got to be the fight of that weight class.
Well, for like 45 seconds straight, they just punched themselves in the face nonstop.
It's crazy. It was fucking insane. All right, so and embarrassingly enough for you. You picked
this was the hot take, though.
Yeah, it was a hot take. Listen, sometimes you got to go out in a branch fight.
Sometimes you got to work out for you.
It did. So you picked Cub to win by first round KO.
Yeah.
I picked Edgar to win by decision. So I did all right on that.
You did all right.
Yeah,
I figured the only way Cub was going to win by first round TKO or KO.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was smart. If you're going to pick Cub at all, that was the way to go.
That's the only way.
It was the way to go for sure. So the main event, Lee versus Barboza. Jesus fucking Christ.
Amazing fight.
Man.
Weird finish.
Yeah.
Another weird finish. New Jersey. Get your shit together.
Yeah.
But crazy fight. Like, you think Barboza's not even going to hurt Kevin Lee. And then that fucking spinning kick.
First of all, I want to say that Lee dominated Barboza even better than Khabib did.
Yes. And he took him down easier than Khabib
and
did.
fucking
And held him down.
Smashed him, man. Smashed him with hammer fist. Elbows. Just elbows from hell. Edson's biggest fucking problem is how tough he is. Because he is taking beating after beating. And this guy don't fucking quit, man. There's no quit. And he's getting tougher. He's getting tougher, man. Because I think he is. Because in the Khabib fight, he looked like by the 3rd round, he looked really frustrated. And he looked like he just wanted out of there. He didn't quit, but he looked like he wanted out of there. In this fight with Lee was hitting him way harder than Khabib was, doing way more damage. And Barboza just looked like he wanted more. Let's go.
Yeah, and he's still throwing some crazy kicks and punches.
Kicks. How about that
that kick was crazy.
Round.
Like, the whole fight, I'm thinking, this is a fun fight to watch, but
one-sided.
Lee's just going to smoke this guy for 25 minutes. And then that kick comes in. Lee's just fucking on Queer Street for a while.
Oh, dude, he was doing the chicken dance.
For a while.
Chicken fucking dance, man.
Oh, man.
I can't believe, I don't know what Barboza was thinking. I think he was thinking, he's got a very good anaconda choke, a Darce choke. And when Lee was coming in rocked like that, I think what Edson was trying to do was lock up that fucking choke because he's got a good one. It was a big mistake. I thought he should have separated, let Lee get back on his feet and finish this fucking fight. It was for me. It was a big miss.
Yeah, he let Lee just come get the birds cleared.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, he did the fucking stanky leg.
He could have finished. He could have finished Lee for sure.
Oh yeah, man. Lee was fucking.
He was ready to go
rocked,
to sleep.
man.
I don't know why he didn't. Yeah.
I'm surprised Lee didn't fucking snap his ankle the way he was fucking stanky legging out there.
Well, what's weird is when he first got hit, I was like, oh shit, he's hurt, and then it looks like he's gonna like come back towards Barboza again, but then he just keeps fucking wobbling.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, this is over. And
listen, then, I do a bit of a chicken dance myself on stage. Kevin Lee put me to fucking shame as far as humor in the chicken dance. I mean, Jesus Christ, that was some funny fucking shit.
And he went rogue the next day.
Yeah.
I got a few minutes in, but holy...
I'm not into it. I haven't downloaded that at all. Man, I can't wait for that.
Fuck,
I'm sure he's going to say good fucking stuff about Barboza.
But then he came back right in the 4th round and started beating the living fuck out of Barboza again.
He did, but here's what I loved about Barboza. When that 5th round started, he knew he needed a finish. And that motherfucker came out. He was throwing nasty fucking kicks, man.
To the
and
body,
punches.
to the body,
oh,
to the
yeah.
legs. He hit him once. Kevin Lee blocked it with his right forearm.
Yeah.
But it still was fucking smack. And I was like,
yeah.
if that arm wouldn't have gone up, it definitely would have killed.
Yeah.
Kevin
Oh,
Lee
yeah.
for sure.
I mean, Barboza was throwing for fucking keeps in that 5th round, man. I loved it. I was like, wow, this could still fucking end with Barboza, It's crazy.
So let's just get to it. So then a piece of fucking tape or something flies off of someone, or Band-Aid or something.
Yeah.
And then they think it's a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
So they stop time for the mouthpiece, which would have looked like to me.
Yeah.
But then he realized it wasn't it. But then he pulls in the doctor, and then the fight's gone.
Yeah.
The fight's done.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And the worst part about that was I recorded it, and then I recorded it just in case I don't watch it.
Right.
And then I was watching it live, but then I fell asleep. So I was like, I'll just watch the next day. Well, it went over like the TV scheduled time.
Yeah, yeah.
So right before the
So you didn't record the event, like whatever was happening after that?
right.
You see, that's
Rookie
your
mistake.
rookie showing
Rookie
again.
mistake.
That is your rookie showing again there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right when about the start of the 5th round, start of the 5th round, my fucking TV just goes, yeah, no, you're done watching this.
It's all over.
I was like, what the fuck? But then on Fight Pass, I just went on today and just watched that last 5th round just so I could see what happened.
That was an amazing fight, man. Kevin Lee is a killer. Before this fight, I never really considered that he would be a good matchup for Khabib.
I didn't either.
Because he's a wrestler. And wrestlers are fucking great when they're on top. But chances are, Khabib's going to get you on your back. But now I'm not entirely fucking convinced that Khabib can get Kevin Lee down.
Kevin Lee looked big.
He looked big. Well, he didn't make weight, and that's a problem.
Yeah, but a pound.
Yeah, but this has been a problem for Kevin Lee throughout his career at 155. This is always a fucking problem.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be tough to give him a title shot if he can't prove he can make the fucking weight. But they did it for Khabib, and he missed weight a whole bunch of times, too. They're kind of in the same boat. Those guys are too big for that division. There should be a 165-pound division.
They should have
and
every
those
10
two
pounds,
guys should fight for the
they
title.
Should every 10 pounds be a weight class.
Yeah.
And especially when you're talking 185 to 205.
Yeah. That's a huge gap.
That's a huge gap.
Even 170 to 185, when you're talking at that weight, 15 pounds is a huge fucking gap, man. Should be every 10 pounds. I agree. It should be every 10. And really, for the UFC, it's way better. You have way more championship matches.
Yeah, you're giving
way more super fights.
You're giving everyone fucking interim belts anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not just add a few more divisions that have more real champions?
Think about how many interim champions you could have at one time.
Right. You could have just a whole fucking roster of interim champions.
Yeah, exactly.
And
but you could have more super fights, right? Like 155 can definitely fight 165. Or 175 could fight 165.
It's a lot easier to go up and down, like boxing. But boxing is weird because every 2 fucking pounds.
They have a lot of weight.
Too much.
Too many.
I think every 10 is a clean amount. But Kevin Lee made weight when he fought Ferguson.
Yeah.
So he can make weight. I don't really think I think it's one of those. It's just a mindset thing. I think when it's not for a belt, you have that extra pound.
Yeah. But
I guess you don't.
He took that pound and then a 0.8.
Yeah, well, it's because of New York.
Maybe it was a 0.2. It wasn't that far.
I think
over.
it's just because New York. New York doesn't give you the extra pound.
No, they do.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
okay.
they absolutely do.
So why did he give it 20% of his purse?
Because he was 0.2 over that.
Oh,
so he was 156.
0.2.
0.2. Yeah.
So that was the same as Al. That's why he didn't get the title fight.
That's right.
He wasn't even 1.2. He was just 0.2.
Yeah.
He weighed in 155.2.
Yeah, but for the title, you have to be right on. You don't get that pound allowance if it's not a title
Why in New York
fight.
don't they let you weigh in twice? They do they do in Vegas. They do in a lot of other places.
Well, almost everywhere now, there's an early weigh-in. So Friday morning, by 10 o'clock, the weigh-ins are done. So when you see the weigh-ins now at 5 o'clock,
I know.
That's just ceremonial.
I'm talking about the morning ones.
Oh, okay.
But in some states, DC did it in Vegas. DC missed weight, and then he goes and he comes back and does the towel trick. But,
right.
But he was allowed, they allow you, if you miss weight, to come back, I think, within
an hour.
Within an hour to try to lose whatever if it's reasonable.
Yeah. But now there's a caveat to that, because if the doctor says you've cut enough weight and it's too dangerous, you're not cutting anymore.
But I don't
the doctors can shut you down.
But I don't think that would happen with Kevin Lee in this particular fight.
I don't think it did.
And I don't think it definitely wouldn't happen with Al in the title fight. So
I can't imagine.
So why can't you give him an hour to go fucking sit in a sauna and come back and lose 0.2 pounds?
Here's the thing. It might be where Kevin Lee said, I can't fucking do it. I don't know if you ever cut weight. I haven't cut weight since 2010. And that weight cut for me was fucking brutal, man. It's not a fun experience when you have to cut weight and you have to be this fucking weight.
I can imagine,
you know?
but I don't think it was. I'm pretty sure this wasn't his decision. This was just New York State Athletic Commission. It's just their rules that says you're allowed one weigh-in.
Yeah.
And if you weigh in and you're a pound over, tough fucking luck. Right?
Hey man, if that's the rule in their state, that's the fucking rule.
New York,
you know, I mean,
New York,
listen,
New York.
in my opinion, man, these guys are professional fighters. You signed a contract to be this fucking weight on this fucking date. Make the fucking weight.
That's a great point.
Make the fucking weight, man. I get pissed off about it. You know what I mean?
It's not like they're springing.
Like I always made sure anytime I had to make weight, and I was nobody fighting nowhere. You know, I always made the fucking weight. It's your job. I mean, these guys are being paid fucking millions. But make the fucking weight.
Does any factor go into you? Because I've noticed a lot of these weight issues started happening when they moved the actual weigh-in time.
Yeah.
Because they used to do it on the actual like live show with all the crowd and everything.
That's right.
That was the
real
real
around
weigh-in,
5-6 p.m.
which is pretty fucking insane to do it in front of a crowd of people.
Yeah.
But that gives them how many more fucking hours? 7 more hours.
Yeah, 6 or 7 hours.
To cut weight.
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot of time.
That's true, but I like the early weigh-in, and I'll tell you why.
I like it too, for health-wise.
Exactly, health-wise. They have a longer period of time to rehydrate. You know?
I'm thinking because they say like a lot of your fluids was pretty much keeping your brain intact.
Your brain is all fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it gives them more time to get more fluids to their brain. So when they get kicked in the head, they might not.
And that's why the weigh-ins are done now a day before.
Yeah.
Right? Rather than day of the event.
Yeah, I've been watching UFC since the old weigh-ins. So
Yeah.
I've been here for the transition.
Okay.
So
look at you go.
Oh yeah, hey. Fuck. Veteran in the sport, bud.
Anytime I competed, I always competed in amateur combat sports, and it's always same day weigh-in. My last weigh-in, I had to weigh 139 pounds. That's it. No pound allowance. 139 pounds. And I it was close to that. Yeah, it was that same year.
Pretty similar.
Yeah, it was the same year. How weird was that picture with me?
Man.
No hair, no beard.
It's weird with no beard.
Yeah.
The hair, it doesn't really do much.
Yeah, but no beard there.
The beard's the big one for me.
Yeah. But anyway, I grappled like 45 minutes after that weigh-in, like right away.
So how much weight would you cut?
I cut about 8 pounds for that one.
Yeah, same day weigh-ins wouldn't be
which
much.
doesn't sound like much, but when you're only 147 pounds,
yeah, it's not a 300-pound person.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking weight to lose. Luckily, I'd been loading water. I've been water loading.
Right.
So I've been driving. My body was full of fluid. So when I went to cut, that's all I was pulling out. So I wasn't digging deep into my fat tissue or anything like that. I was full of water, so I just drew that out. Now, we went to the keg the night before, and that was probably a mistake.
Yeah, that's a bad choice.
In fact, the guy that one of the guys we went there with, Bones was his name, he was supposed to be in the same tournament, in the same bracket as me, in the same weight class. But he had, so that night at the keg, I passed up on all the bread, and I had chicken Oscar. It was just chicken with shrimp on top of it. I didn't eat any fucking veggies. I just ate the chicken and the fish. No bread, and I mean this. You ever been to the keg?
Oh, have I?
Yeah.
Oh,
They
yes.
have some pretty good bread there.
I don't go anymore because they don't make anything that's vegetarian.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so anyway, so this guy orders a fucking porterhouse, fucking like 32-ounce fucking steak. He's eating all the fucking bread. He's driving the potatoes in, and he had to actually move up 2 weight classes the next morning. Big mistake he made there.
Holy
Yeah, big
fuck.
mistake, and he got triangled immediately.
He would just be too small. Wouldn't
Yeah. And it was unfortunate because that was his big weapon was the triangle, and he got triangled. But when I got beat in the semis, I got beat by the armbar, which is what I love.
That's your favorite.
So, yeah,
it's my favorite to watch.
But I got fucking armbarred by a ringer. This guy had no business being in the fucking intermediate class that I was in. This guy was
was in it to win it.
Oh, he was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt from fucking way back. You know what I mean? Couldn't pronounce his name. I mean, this guy's, you know what I mean?
He's probably a woman now competing in women's sports.
It's possible. He is a cheater. As far as I'm concerned, he's a fucking cheater.
Well, that's the thing now.
Hey, listen, I lost fair and square. That's the way it fucking goes. You know what I mean?
Win and lose in this fight.
Hey, if you don't compete,
the Tank.
if you don't compete, you can't fucking win, right?
I thought the Tank was going to win.
You thought Tank Abbott was going to win?
The way you were talking about.
Right. Yeah. Did he really lose, though? All right. You know what? Let's, wrapping this up, man, I think, I think Lee
Kick the
is.
shit out of him.
You know what? Give him the title shot. Give him Tony. Give him anybody, man. I'll be happy. I don't care what the fuck happens. I think Lee's ready to challenge for the title.
He's getting tested.
I'd like to see it. I hate it that he didn't make weight, but I want to fucking see it.
So I don't care so much about the make weight because it was a pound.
Yeah.
And I think if it was for a belt, he's not going to make that kind of mistake.
What if he does?
He said he got short notice too on this fight. He said that I think he might have said in the cage. Like when they offered him the fight, like when it was close to like this date, it was
right.
A lot closer than what normally he does.
Yeah.
So I think he was cutting a lot faster than when he normally he may, I don't know how far out he signs his contracts normally, but
he's got to stop walking around at 192 pounds.
Yeah. Well, that's
start walking around at 183 or 4 pounds.
That's a lot of fighters' problems.
Yeah. They get too heavy in the off season, man.
Fucking Hendricks there. What's his name? Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, it's Jimmy. Yeah.
Fuck sakes.
Johnny
Hendricks.
Yeah, well, Johnny's. Listen, once USADA came in, Johnny went out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did they have to come in? Why did they have to come?
I hate it.
Right
Matt.
when I start watching.
I hate it. I want these guys juiced to the fucking gills.
When I was seeing Ken Shamrock just traps on him like Francis Ngannou.
TRT Vitor Belfort might be the best fighter ever.
Maybe.
Give him the fucking TRT.
Fucking or Ubering.
What do we hate these fucking wheel kick knockouts? Do we hate them?
I don't know what the.
Because I don't.
I don't know. Maybe just have a branch of the UFC that's like, hey, this is, we're not. There's no USADA over here.
Yeah.
So if this is where you want to compete, we have this spot for you.
Yeah.
But if you want to compete in a strictly clean, USADA safe environment, we have the UFC right here. It's all great. But if you want this is fucking whatever. Bellator should do that.
Bellator should do that. Well, they kind of do.
Because they're but
they kind of do.
They kind of do, but they need to just really just put the blindfolds on and.
Here's what I think, man. I think that steroids are a form of technology, right? It's physical technology. Right. Why aren't we fucking using it then?
I think it's because
we use all the other fucking technology.
I think it's because you're getting kicked in the head. I don't.
Yeah, but if everybody, here's what I think. I think they should let them use testosterone, but set a level. Like your levels can't be higher than this, right? That's what I think.
That's a decent amount.
I don't know. Same with the Olympics and stuff. Why do we care? First of all, these athletes in the Olympics aren't even getting paid.
Yeah, they're amateur athletes.
Let's pump them. Let them fucking take whatever they want.
They do.
If he can be the fastest guy in the fucking world pumping this juice, then he's the fastest guy in the fucking world. The juice that exists. It's like we're all pretending it doesn't exist.
But is it? But then at that point, it exists. But at that point, it's almost a battle of who's the best chemist, not who's the best athlete.
But here's the thing, okay? Training techniques have advanced, right?
Right.
Machinery to train on has advanced. The trainers themselves who are training these athletes, they have advanced. All these other advancements, no one fucking cares about, right? No one says, oh, you can't train with that guy because he's better than this guy, I don't get it. Everything is advanced, and we use all those advancements, but we don't use the chemical advancements. I say if you want to be a fucking pro athlete, and that's your choice, the fucking consequences, do it. And everyone says, well, then you're telling the kids it's okay to do steroids. Yes, let them do steroids and see how fucking good they can do.
Well, they're probably going to get steroids.
I get fucking uptight about
old men get on steroids, like fucking just for being old.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, Matt Serra doesn't compete anymore. He's on fucking TRT. And he feels fucking great.
Rogan's on TRT.
He's horny all the fucking time. He's lifting fucking weights. He's eating pizzas. He's having a great life. He
looks good lately.
Yeah, Rogan too. Same deal, right?
I think he started cutting some weight after he saw himself on a couple first episodes of Dana White looking for a fight.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't like this.
Yeah. That may be the case, but he's never going to pass up on fucking pizza.
Well,
that's all he talks about.
Not New York pizza.
That's all he talks about is pizza.
New York pizza.
I love it. I had pizza with him. It was fucking great. What's funny about Matt Serra is went out to dinner with him. This picture was actually taken at that dinner. This man sat down and ate the biggest fucking steak you've ever seen in your life, and he took his goddamn time. Like he took his time eating this fucking biggest. Jesus. It was honestly the biggest steak, even to this day, that I've ever fucking seen.
So how did you end up linking up with him?
Well, I had a fight store at the time,
that,
and the guy putting this weekend together, his name is Bujar, and he's a bit of a fucking nut, but he invited me up for free, me and my buddy Kirk, and we went up and partook in the whole fucking weekend. But anyway, so we had this fucking dinner with Matt, and later on that night, we all went out to a club, and it was Babalu was there, bunch of fighters. Anyway, afterwards, we came home from the club a little earlier, and then Babalu and a couple of the other fighters came back later in the limo, right? So we were hanging out in the lobby waiting for the boys to come back, shoot the shit, whatever, right? And so Babalu comes in, grabs my buddy Bujar, right, who put on this fucking event, grabs him by the collar and says, "Weed and hooker, my room now," and shoves him halfway across the fucking hotel lobby.
Holy fuck.
And Bujar's like, "What am I going to do?" I'm like,
Gotta
it's
get
just
some
like,
weed hookers,
well,
bud.
I'll tell you this, bud, I can shoot you a couple grams.
Right.
You know, I'll give you everything I got. As far as the hookers, I can't really help you out. Wifey's sleeping, first of all. She's
Yeah.
tired. And
Could've made you
I don't know
some
what the
money.
fuck you're going to do. So anyway, Bujar had that shit to deal with. And Kirk and I just went back to the room and drank and did whatever. Hanging out. And about 4 o'clock in the morning, we decide we're going to order a fucking pizza. So we go down to the lobby and we're going to talk to the fucking guy at the desk about getting a pizza. Well, who's roaming around down there? Matt Serra. He's in his fucking jammies, right? And he's standing at a vending machine. I'm like, "Matt Serra, what the fuck you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm going to get a fucking snack here. A bag of chips, I'll get whatever." I'm like, "A bag of chips? Like, what are you, a fucking refugee? Like, let's get a fucking pizza." He's like, "Pizza? Why, you guys getting pizza?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're getting pizza." He's like, "Oh, I thought it was too late to get pizza in this town." I'm like, "Dude, this is fucking Toronto. What?
Yeah.
No, we're getting a fucking pizza."
It's never late.
I said, "Are you in?" He's like,
Pizza.
and he stops me. He goes, "I'm definitely in, but I got to tell you, I got to have my own pie." I'm like, "Dude, you can get whatever the fuck you want."
yeah,
He's
they
like,
call
"I don't
pie.
want you to be offended." He's not even that I don't want to share it with you guys. I just need my own fucking pie. I'm like, "Fine, you get your own fucking pie." And we had pizza pie. We shot the shit. And then
Pizza
we were
pie.
just kind of walking around the lobby, and we go into this the media room in the lobby, and there's David Loiseau, the Crow. He challenged for the middleweight crown fucking way back when Rich Franklin had the belt. He's a fighter from Montreal, trained with GSP.
Okay.
Good fighter. He was in there. And Matt Serra goes in and starts busting his fucking balls, and we all hung out for like 2 or 3 hours in this media room with the Crow and Matt Serra. Great fucking time.
That's a good story.
It was a good time. So, and I think we went to bed about 6:30 in the morning.
That sounds
Training
about
started.
right.
Training started at 9.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds bang on.
And we woke up still drunk, flat tire.
Jesus.
It was a tough day. Later on that day, training with Matt Serra, he puts me. He had me in the butterfly guard, and he's stretching my legs right out, pulled my fucking groin.
This is the difference in skill, eh?
Oh, dude,
Like-
listen. At that point, I had been doing jiu-jitsu for, off and on 12 years.
That's a long
At that
time.
time, straight like 4 years training, like rolling.
What do you have for a
live
belt?
rolling all the time. I don't fucking worry.
Oh,
about
you don't do the
stuff.
belt?
No, I don't do the belt. I had my green belt when I left, which means nothing.
Yeah, I don't even know
Right?
what that is.
Basically, I had my blue belt when I left. The teacher who was teaching me the moves, right? But what happened with me? So I was learning all the moves, and then I said to my teacher, I said, like, I want to fucking grapple. Like, I need to live grapple. I haven't done that in a long time. He said, well, actually, one of my students, one of my black belts, has just opened a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu,
Oh shit.
franchise or whatever. And so I went to train with him, and we live grappled all the fucking time. So I essentially got my blue belt in technique from this guy. But then I trained, live grappling for fucking years in a system that doesn't award belts.
It's like Demetrius Johnson.
I think Eddie
Demetrius
does.
Johnson doesn't have any belts in jiu-jitsu.
Nah, man.
And he
but he's
fucking
been,
armbars people, chokes them out.
Dude,
fucking.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
The belt shit means nothing, man. Like anybody who's from Brazil is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, but their jiu-jitsu is not always great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway, so at that time, I've been training a long time and had rolled with a lot of fucking people of all different levels, But locking up with a guy like Matt Serra, people have no idea the difference in levels of jiu-jitsu. Like when you watch a fight, you can see it's a close fight. Oh, these guys are, closely matched. You have no idea how serious these pro fighters, their skill level is just, it's off the fucking hook. As soon as I locked up with Matt Serra, I was weightless. I was off the ground.
Whatever he wanted to do.
He was in complete control of my body. He could have done whatever the fuck he wanted to me. And I thought maybe I'd, maybe get to his half guard or, maybe surprise. Nothing.
12 years
Nothing,
experience. You
dude.
think
He
you
had
have
me
bit?
just fucking balanced on his feet. I was up in the air like I was a fucking puppet. He could have done whatever he fucking wanted to me. He could have grabbed my mouth and just made me go like he could have done whatever he wanted to me.
That's insane.
And he ended up fucking pulling my groin.
That's
unfortunately.
insane.
Yeah. Yeah, the level of his jiu-jitsu was just, I mean, it was
That's
just
like the one.
crazy.
That's like the main martial art that I want to learn. Is
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It's by far my favorite martial art.
I mean, you can start training jiu-jitsu today. 30 years down the road, you won't be done.
Oh fuck no.
You'll never be done.
No.
Yeah, but it's so fun, man.
Man,
It's so fun.
You ever just watch those videos of like just big meatheads starting fights with like smaller guys, but they don't realize that the small guy's like a jiu-jitsu guy?
technique, yeah.
And then every video was the same way.
Oh, yeah.
Just fucking down to the ground, body triangle, sleep, night.
So when I first joined this, when I first signed up for the 10th Planet gym with Stu Landry,
Has that always been EBI, 10th Planet? Like always been Eddie Bravo?
Eddie Bravo started 10th
Yeah,
Planet.
yeah,
Yeah, that's his system.
Yeah, I know it is. I just didn't know if it was something.
Yeah,
he
he
just bought
created
into,
it.
or...
Yeah, no, he created it. So when I first joined 10th Planet with Stu Landry, the first person I rolled with was a 13-year-old kid, and this kid was just a string bean, right? And he's 13 years old. I'm a tough fucking dude, man. I've been, you know what I mean? I've knocked fools out my whole fucking life, choking people down at the fucking 3 Mile back in '94 just from watching the techniques on UFC, right? Way back in the early days. I'm no fucking pushover. I lock up with this 13-year-old. He's been live grappling for years, right? Like 2 years. No, sorry. Months. Like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, something like that.
Yeah.
This kid just fucking tied me up like a pretzel. I was so angry. I'm like, well, why the fuck have I been going to this jiu-jitsu for 3 years, learning all these techniques? Doesn't matter. If you don't live grapple, you don't know nothing. You can.
What were you doing
What do you mean?
in your classes?
Well, I was learning the jiu-jitsu techniques,
Just
right?
like the
So he'd show me an arm bar. I'd do an arm bar. He'd show me an escape. I'd do the escape on him.
But you
right?
weren't actually trying to
But
defend each other. And all
We
that
weren't live grappling.
We're like,
right? He
one
was
of you
just-
was actually trying to finish the other one was trying to finish you, and you
Yeah.
guys just, whoever wins wins.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't a match. It was just, here's the technique.
Till you
I'll
tap.
show it to you, and then you do it on me three times on this side, and then 3 times on that side, and I'll check it off in your list,
Okay.
and you'll move down the fucking system,
Yeah.
right? It's just a money-making
So
system.
I would walk away
right?
from that.
Well, I mean, it was the only jiu-jitsu I could find at the time, right? Brazilian
I'm
jiu-jitsu.
assuming they're not all like that now. I wouldn't assume.
No. I mean, now, the guy that was teaching me, legit fucking black belt, grills jiu-jitsu.
Right. But he's just there to get paid.
It's just a business.
He's just there trying to get kids.
It's a business. It's $35 an hour. You know what I mean? It was
Well, it's like because I went to KV Golden Gloves for a while, and they have jiu-jitsu classes and Muay Thai and kickboxing and all that there.
right.
And so every once in a while you'd be there. Well, every time you were there, there were other classes. But during the Muay Thai and the kickboxing classes, like I was kind of jealous of them just being able to kick, and I wasn't allowed to kick because I was there for the boxing.
Yeah, yeah.
But when the jiu-jitsu classes were on, I was spending most of the time just staring over there like, fuck, that looks cool.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I this past weekend I cleaned out that room in the basement, and I'm gonna put mats down through the whole thing. So
Oh, shit.
If you want to learn some jiu-jitsu, man, come on down. We'll fucking roll.
You won't kill me, will you?
Yeah. Of course I will. Of course I will.
What if I put you to sleep right away? What would you do?
It's probably not gonna happen, man.
What's to make a bet? But it has to be like 100 to 1 odds.
Well, let's make it $100 then.
To $1?
Yeah, to
Deal.
$1. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
So if I win, or first time, no showing me anything. I just come as a knob. If
You
I
have
get
zero
luck,
chance.
If I get lucky, I get
There's no luck in
yeah,
jiu-jitsu.
but I can give him $1 for no luck,
No. Yeah, you can.
right?
Yeah.
I can afford $1 for what I know is going to happen.
Well, I'm gonna be $1 richer.
But I'm thinking I am a lot heavier.
It makes no difference.
I know.
Yeah. It's the size makes zero difference.
I'm probably going to give you the $1.
How many UFCs have you seen? Right, the older UFCs.
Not too many. Of the
Right.
older
Okay.
stuff.
So what I'm gonna. So your homework this week, and so
Oh, fuck.
we're gonna talk about your homework from last week.
better not be a whole
right
fucking
coming up.
pay-per-view again.
No, it is. It's UFC 7.
Oh my! Am I going to watch these in numerical order now or something?
Well, we'll jump around, but just for an example of size, right? We're gonna watch UFC 7, and it's well, you'll see. That's your homework, and it was the UFC's first introduction to leg kicks as well.
Oh really?
Yeah, yeah,
I couldn't get over just like the difference and everything
yeah,
and fucking everything.
yeah, and everything. So I'm gonna
Even the ring announcer was
Michael Buffer.
Mike Buffer.
Yeah, Michael Buffer.
I
at the
go,
time.
shit, this is like Bruce.
Yeah.
And then I go, and then they showed me Michael Buffer, and I went, oh
Oh, let's get
fuck. I like Bruce better.
I like Bruce better too. I'm gonna pause it here because I gotta take a leak. We're gonna come back and talk UFC 6.
Let's do it. Time to fucking get over it.
I'm still a little hot about it. UFC 6. So that was your homework.
Yes.
UFC 6.
Passed.
First of all, not terrible homework.
It was good. It was fun.
Right.
That was fun.
Yeah. That was a huge event for them at the time. It really put them on the fucking map because they finally had a villain. They finally had a villain in the UFC.
Was that the Russian?
And his name was Tank Abbott.
Oh, he was the villain.
Oh, he was the villain. Even though people loved him.
I was going to say, because the fucking place was chanting Tank.
Oh,
Tank,
yeah.
Tank multiple times.
Oh, you put Tank's photo up at a UFC event now and the crowd will go fucking crazy. But he was a villain. But people loved him. But he was a villain. Really, when you think about it.
Well, I know he was saying things like, oh, yeah, fucking pit fighting. He says. Well, I was reading, like, the skills for, like, the fighters in between, before, like, the tail of the tape or whatever. Sure. And one of the skills that they had listed under a guy was no submissions.
Yeah, that was Cal Worsham.
What the fuck am I watching? Did I just go into a fucking time traveling machine?
Yeah. Well, basically, you did.
I definitely did.
So the first fight,
me and Jim Brown commentating UFC fights for fuck's sake.
I told you you'd love the commentators.
Oh my god!
I told you you'd love them.
The other guy sounded like a baseball commentator.
Yeah,
he was here for the pitch. It sounded like the guy who calls the Yankee games today.
Who was the announcer at that time? Brian? Was it Brian Kilmeade?
I only know Mean Jim Green because I'm such a big football fan.
I think it was at that time Brian Kilmeade
was the
main guy. And he's on like Fox and Friends now. It's hilarious.
Okay, he looks like a Fox and Friends guy.
Oh yeah, he's got a sketchy. He's got a sketchy past, that fucking guy. I think he was accused of rape and all this.
Of course
he's a sketchy motherfucker.
He's perfect for Fox then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time.
He's right there,
big time. So first fight, David Tank Abbott versus John Matua. How about the size of both of these guys? But Matua comes in at 400 pounds.
I think he's lying.
Did
they weigh in?
Or do they tell? I'm not sure. Might have been exaggerated. But he is a big, thick fucking dude, man.
But when they were right next to one another, like the other guy, the fucking Hawaiian guy, what's his name again?
John Matua.
Yeah. He was obviously bigger.
Yeah, thicker.
But they had Tank at 280 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way he's 120 pounds heavier.
Yeah, he might have been 60 to 80 pounds heavier, though. I mean, he was a thick fucking dude, man.
Because not even the guy who was...
calves were so fucking thick.
But not even that monster who was 6'8" was claiming to be 400 pounds.
Oh, that monster that was 6'8" was actually 660 pounds.
What?
Yeah.
They only had it for like...
You're talking about Emmanuel...
He looked like a vampire. His teeth were all fucked.
Dude, I have so much homework for you. Anyway,
he got finished by...
So Tank goes through Matua.
20 seconds or something.
Matua makes the giant mistake of wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah,
and Tank just grabs him by the fucking collar like he's Babalu grabbing Bujar and fucking just labels him with fucking 4 huge right hands and he's out.
Yeah.
Now, when he falls, he hits his head pretty seriously on the mat. That concussed him. First of all, those 4 right hands concussed him 4 times. Concussion number 5, bangs his fucking head on the mat. And then
lucky number 6.
Yeah, lucky number 6, Tank flies into him with a forearm shiver.
And then he looked like Overeem versus Francis.
He looked like he was taking a hard right turn in a big truck.
It was
his arms were out. His fucking legs were up in the air.
I remember, because that was the first fight of the card.
That's right.
And I remember thinking in my head, I don't know if I can watch this.
Right, see? That's what I thought the first UFC I ever watched. UFC 2. We talked about
when
that.
When they introduced, because it was that Pat guy.
Yeah, Pat Smith.
That did it. Because then when he was walking to the ring, he said he won his last fight with finishing with an elbow.
Yeah.
And then when the other guy starts laughing, he goes, yeah, a couple of them or something like that.
Yeah, about 700 elbows. Yeah. So that was very interesting to see Tank come out like that. What I loved is that Tank stood over him, shit-talked him, put his arms out as if he was the one that was, he was teasing him for being all fucking sketched out. He was teasing him for it. And I was looking at this guy. This guy's a fucking killer. You don't want to fight this guy. So the next fight, how fucking crazy was Cal Worsham versus Paul Varelans? Guys, if you're a fight fan at all, go back and watch UFC 6. Even if you just watch the Polar Bear versus Cal Worsham, that Marine, that was a crazy fucking fight while it lasted.
Yeah. There was a big size difference.
But hey, nobody told Cal Worsham. He didn't give a fuck, man.
He was fired up.
He stood toe to toe. Those guys stood in front of each other and just landed just right, left,
until
left.
the elbow.
Until that big elbow.
On the neck.
On the neck. I mean, you got a guy who's
Right at the top of your fucking...
How tall did they have Varlands at? 6'8" or 6'10"?
They had him 6'8".
6'8". So when you're fighting a guy who's,
5'10", I think.
Yeah, real easy to do a down elbow on a guy like that.
Fuck, man.
And
luckily... He hit him once, and I was like, shit. And then...
the one he hit him with dropped him.
Yeah.
And then he followed him down with another elbow.
Dave's dead.
Luckily for Worsham, his corner threw in the towel.
I saw it come
flying. It came flying. It hit him, actually.
Yeah.
The towel actually hit
a fucking boomerang. It came out so fast.
Yeah, because it was rolled right up,
It looked
right?
like a plastic fucking thing, and I was like, well, it's obviously the towel, but it looked just like a fucking boomerang.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
And it hit Worsham.
Well, he had like a job interview. He had a job interview like 2 weeks later or something at the fucking correctional office.
Yeah.
So
crazy fucking Marine, man. That guy had no quit in him. He was there to fight. He actually came back and fought in a few other events.
You ever win?
He won a couple. But I think he left with a losing record. But man, you talk about tough as fucking nails. No fear. Can you imagine going in there barefoot in a pair of shorts, fighting a guy 6'8"?
What was it? Mike Buffer, I think at the start, he's like, what do you say? No time limit, no rounds, no rules, or some shit like that.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's how they were selling it.
Oh my god.
You are locked in this fucking cage with this animal.
Yeah, some guys wore gloves, some didn't.
Yeah.
Some wore wraps, some wore shoes, some wore...
Tank was really the first guy to wear the MMA style gloves. He really started that fucking deal.
Smart.
Yeah, real smart, because he didn't break his hands in that event.
No.
So what I love about this is right away after these two fights, now you've got Tank fighting the fucking polar bear. And that's... I mean, when this event was happening live, I was like, this is the only fight I care about in the world right now is Tank versus this polar bear, man.
I was pretty fired up for that, too.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in the semis. So next fight was Pat Smith making his fucking debut or his return since UFC 2. He's finally back. I was jazzed up, man. I'm a huge Pat Smith fan. And he's fighting Rudyard Montoya or whatever.
Man, he wore a Street Fighter outfit. That was dope.
Yeah.
That was dope.
He had no skills. This guy was very proud of his bench press. And he came out with his chest all shaved, and he strutted with his hands down. He strutted to the middle of the fucking octagon. And I love what Pat Smith did here. He
booted him in the chest.
Yeah, but he stayed low first.
Oh, right.
He came running in low as if he was going for a takedown, and it fucking faked Rudy
out.
out.
Fucking wrestling.
He's wearing a singlet. Yeah, he's wearing a fucking gray singlet.
Yeah.
But he's real low, and he's coming in quick, real low, trying to trick Rudy into thinking he's going for the legs. He's going for a takedown. And he jumps up and fucking super kicks him in the chest and sends him flying across the
commentator
octagon.
kicks him right in the face.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
yeah, he fucked. Yeah, well, the commentators.
And then old mean Jim Green comes around the corner, or Jim Brown, and he comes around the corner. He's like, oh, you actually kicked him in the chest there, Brian. You just open your fucking eyes.
Yeah, get your shit right.
Even I knew he hit him in the chest.
Yeah, exactly. And he choked him out pretty quickly with a guillotine, I think it was. Or was it rear? No, it was an open rear naked choke without having any hooks in or anything, wasn't it?
It was pretty... he got him...
It was an elementary...
he got him on the ground, got full mount real quick, and then... Yeah, just...
He started raining punches down like he did in fucking UFC 2.
I was waiting for
Buddy
the
started
elbows.
turning around going, oh, I've seen this fucking shit before.
Yeah, here's my
no
neck.
reruns here, bud.
Here's my neck.
Yeah, exactly. Choke me, please.
Yeah, one tap, too. That's one thing I noticed about this event. It was always one tap.
Single tap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next fight was...
well, actually, before we move on to that...
Oh, yeah?
One thing that caught my attention was after the fight when they interviewed Pat Smith. They said, hey, blah, 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 you added the ground game, all this shit.
Yeah.
And he said...
You can't fight on the ground.
You can't fight.
You can't fight.
Right.
Yeah, that was brilliant, man.
And now, that couldn't be any more true.
Yeah. And I think that opened a lot of people's eyes. Pat Smith went to the finals in UFC 2, and he faced Royce Gracie, and he learned if you can't fight on the ground,
you can't fight.
You can't fucking fight, man. So good on Pat Smith. He ended up going to prison in Denver for rape. But anyway.
There you go.
Yeah, he's a real terrible guy. Still a huge fan, to be honest. I got to be honest. None of the raping.
Hey,
none of the raping. I've never been a fan of that shit.
You can be a fan of someone's professional side.
Yeah.
But not be a fan of them as a person.
Yeah.
Look, Floyd.
Yeah.
He's all kinds of those. He went to jail for beating the fuck out of his wife.
Yeah.
People still love him, so.
Listen, I mean, if you're paying people to go into a fucking cage or a ring to fight people for money, you can't expect them to be good people. Like back when everyone was so surprised when Mike Tyson beat up this guy in the streets of Hawaii for cutting him off in traffic or some fucking thing. He kicked him in the nuts and headbutted him. And everyone's all surprised. Like, what do you mean you're surprised? Like, the boxing world took Mike Tyson at 15 years old and said, hey, everybody in the world is going to love you. You're going to have everything handed to you on a silver platter. All you got to do is go in there and rip that fucking guy's head off. They created a monster.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're all surprised after going, geez, he's kind of a monster.
And he had a fucked
Yeah,
up
I wonder
childhood
why.
too added on to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
His mom was a hooker or something. Like,
Anybody who's surprised that these fucking fighters are animals outside of the cage, I mean, they have to fucking, they're animals, you know? It's the same thing with comics, you know? People give comics shit for, he said something crazy. He's supposed to.
yeah, exactly.
He's a fucking comic.
I know. I said something the other.
I don't get it.
I said something the other day. A joke. Shub and I had to go to Walmart for some reason. I fucking hate that place.
Yeah, I don't go there.
So, as I'm pulling into the parking lot, there's 3 grown men, all wearing camo,
Right.
head to toe, getting into a cab driven by a Syrian.
Nice.
So I'm like, this is the perfect picture for Walmart.
Sure.
Then I go inside. First person I see is a guy with a pink mohawk.
Nice.
Beside him is his friend with a red spiked hair, and then a girl with like green hair.
Beautiful.
And I was like, get me the fuck out of this place.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't be here.
How did this relate to what we were talking
Anyway,
about?
so
Okay.
comedy. So
Right.
I said something kind of insensitive at some point
Right.
to Shelby,
Sure.
and she laughed because no one else heard me.
Funny's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, do you think I could do that on stage? She's like, no. And I'm like, fuck. I was like, but that's what that's for.
Yeah. That's
then
exactly what it's for.
she's like,
and that's
"You
what I'm
can't
going to
do
do May 1st at Yuck Yucks.
Are you really?
Oh, I'm going to say some crazy shit up there. Anyway.
I'm going. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be there. So
Yeah, I'm going to fuck that place up. I may not be invited back.
I don't think so.
Nevertheless.
So with if they're inviting someone like that Rouse guy,
yeah, well,
but I guess they're promoting him.
you know, back in the day, Jason Rouse was banned from Yuck Yucks, right?
Yeah.
And then, but the thing is, you get big enough, right? They have to bring you back.
I
And
guess
now
that
he
makes sense.
makes fucking bank when he does.
I'm not
it,
really I'm assuming he's super raunchy. I've never heard. Any
He's super raunchy.
I'm not really that
He
kind of.
talks about fisting your grandmother and
Yeah,
you know
I don't know.
he's over that. But he's funny, man. It's a good show.
Is it a good show?
It's a good fucking show, man.
I've never seen him.
I opened for him in March of 2016.
I'm just not really a raunchy
Great.
comic fan.
Yeah,
I don't really like raunchy comedy. I like more creative.
yeah.
Kinda-
I didn't like. I don't like Jason Rouse on video, but to see him live, man, he's very fucking good.
I guess.
He knows what he's fucking doing up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
He doesn't
might
change
check
his
him out.
material very much. He doesn't write a lot of new shit.
Well, I'm not gonna know anything anyway.
Yeah,
so it'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
all fresh for me.
But he's no, you got to see him live.
I might go
It's an
check him out
experience,
then.
man. Jason Rouse is he's brilliant. It's a brilliant
I
experience.
think
It's a good
I
experience.
think a lot of people like him.
Oh yeah,
I think
people love him.
People get excited. He's
Yeah,
doing
man.
3 nights in a row.
Well, you know, Dice is taking him under his wing now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's getting that fucking Dice Clay
I was
fucking
gonna
push,
say,
man.
getting that little rub. Huh?
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
nice. That's like a. When I would do anything for a Rogan. rub.
It's a big boost to your career, big
Man,
time. Yeah.
anything one of those things. Like I just mentioned Rogan. He does that for multiple.
Yeah,
comedians.
lots of people. That's how Tommy Buns. That's why he's so fucking big
Right?
now, man.
Same thing with
It-
Hinchcliffe,
yeah.
Joey, all of them.
Diaz, yeah, absolutely.
Bert,
yeah.
every
even
Ari,
Red Band.
Red Band,
Yeah.
Ari Shaffir,
All those guys.
Every one of those
Yeah.
fucking comedy store
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. They all got the Rogan rub.
And
Yeah.
you know what I think I like the most about that is I don't think they would deny it either.
Oh no, they're all very open about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, buddy.
Oh, they say it. Like I listen to the Bertcast and he says it
Okay.
all the fucking time on there. Like, you know, I've never been this big since since Rogan. Never.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He's fucking funny too.
Oh yeah, man. Bert's funny. I don't really love his stand up, but I love him as a personality.
Yeah, I watched his special that he did the machine joke.
Yeah.
Original special. And I like that special, but then I watched, I was like, fuck, this guy's funny.
Yeah.
So then I started watching a second special, and then I got about halfway through, and I'm like, I'm okay.
Yeah. His machine story is great. All of his stories are fucking great, man. But I'm not a huge fan of his comedy. But anyway, fight number 4.
That's what I just opened.
The Russian Bear, Oleg Taktarov, fights Canadian
Right.
and real tough Canadian, Dave Beneteau.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a great fight.
For 57 seconds.
How did that fight end? It ended in a choke?
Guillotine.
Guillotine choke. Yeah. And he wrapped him up good. He had his legs fucking wrapped up in that guillotine choke too. The Russian Bear was one of the first grapplers, like very high level grapplers that we saw that didn't come from Brazil. It was a surprise.
Oh, really?
It was a surprise, yeah.
Yeah,
and he
he's
also had
French
leg
as fuck.
locks and shit, right? So he had some different stuff than the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He was
Yeah,
a
I
sambo
think he
guy.
was going, if I remember right, I think he was going for the takedown, and then the Russian fucker just
Yeah.
got him by the neck.
Benetou's a wrestler. But, man, Beneteau can fucking crack, too. You'll see some more. You'll see some more of Beneteau because I'm going to give you more Beneteau homework.
UFC 8 next week.
He was fantastic. He never had a winning record. He always had a losing record, but he was a tough fucking Canadian man. He was a good representative for us in the early days.
And the people weren't liking this Russian either. Was there a lot of like Russian trauma going on at the time? Do you know?
Well, Americans and Russians, they've never really been. I don't think the Americans were over the Cold War by the 90s.
I was gonna say, was that near that crazy hockey game or anything?
Yeah, no, that was a long time before that. But still, So we have it set that it's going to be Tank and the Polar Bear. It's going to be Pat Smith versus the Russian Bear, and everyone's excited. Pat Smith pulls out.
Even I was excited.
Yeah.
This is fucking from 1995, I think.
Yeah. And Pat Smith has to pull out of the tournament. Big loss to that fucking tournament, man. He pulls out, and they put in Mad Dog.
Yeah, he started his period or something. I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Stomach cramps.
Yeah, that's what he had, cramps. Yeah. Who knows what was going on? Anyway, Pat Smith is fucking. I don't think so. I don't think he's scared of anybody. I think Pat Smith would have fought.
Do you think he got paid to do that?
No, I don't.
You don't think that?
I don't think so. I think he was legitimately, maybe he went into it with an injury. Who fucking knows? When you're in a tournament, man, that's a hard thing to do. Go out and fight again.
No kidding.
And he proved in UFC 2. He wasn't afraid to go out and fight fucking 4 times. He fought 4 times that night in UFC 2, and won 3 of them. So anyway, I think his whatever was going on was legit. So, but the first fight of the semis, which was Tank Abbott versus the Polar Bear.
That was the first fight, yeah.
Man, that was incredible. That was the first time, and it wasn't the only time that Tank used the cage as a weapon, but that was the very first time that anyone used the cage as an actual weapon in the UFC.
Yeah, it was crazy. I saw a bunch of crazy things. I saw Pat Smith using the cage as leverage when he was trying to choke Buddy out, like reaching over, and they were grabbing inside the cage. The fucking foam is falling off the cage. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Back in those days, the cage doors would fly fucking open. People were being put through the cage, over the fucking cage. They zoomed in
on the lock. It was rustier than the one in my baby barn, for fuck's sakes. That whole fucking thing was driving me nuts. But yeah, Tank used the cage, and he was like smiling.
He was smiling at the commentators while he was holding the cage and driving his knee into the Polar Bear's fucking head.
Right, and then just started throwing random punches every now and then.
Yeah, and he just fucking hit him until the ref just said, you know what, this is enough.
And the Polar Bear was pissed.
Yeah, but the Polar Bear was fucking beat up, man.
What's he going to do?
He acted pissed off. He acted like he wanted more of Tank. He didn't need any more of Tank, and Tank would have been happy to give him more of fucking Tank. He wasn't going anywhere. He was going to get. He would have been beat to death if there was no ref there. He would have been beat to fucking death by a Tank.
I'm surprised he didn't fucking just take his face and just rub it against the fucking cage.
Listen, you're going to have more Tank homework.
It looked like, you know what it looked like? The foam. You ever see like those foam rollers that people use like the gyms and stuff for like that's what it looked like. It was on the top of all these fucking cages.
Yeah, I know. They were bullshit fucking octagons at the time.
Fuck.
Tank actually won one fight by pressing his head against someone else's head and driving their head, pushing the cage out like 2 feet. And that's how he won the fight.
He's missing like 4 front teeth, for fuck's sakes.
Tank is fucking nutty. What I love after this fight, they interviewed him and he said, in his pre-fight interview, he said he likes to take people down and tickle them. So I thought I'd tickle his brain a little bit.
He's crazy, isn't he?
Tank was fucking nuts. Automatically, with that win, Tank goes into the finals.
Well, you keep in mind, my first intro to this UFC 6 was Tank Abbott, because it was the first fight, and he was the first intro.
And, that's right.
So they did that weird video where they're just like running in a fucking desert or something.
Yeah.
And then
wasn't he like suplexing a fucking heavy bag or something in the sand or some shit?
They all, and then he just like looks at the camera, like he's like, I just want to punch people in the face.
Actually, what he said was, I'm going to be the most athletic person ever in the octagon. That coupled with my experience will make me the UFC champion.
Right.
But when he talked about athleticism.
What the fuck is he saying?
I loved it because he talked about his athleticism. He's going to be the most athletic guy who's ever come in the UFC. He's got this giant beer gut, and I'm athletic. What the fuck are we talking about
here?
Even
in the first fight, 57 seconds, he comes out fucking.
He was gassed.
Doing the interview, I'm like, bud, your fight was less than a minute, and all you did was punch like 8 times.
Yeah, I think it was like, what, 18 seconds? It was pretty fucking quick.
I think it was
22 seconds, something like that.
Like it was like right around 20 seconds. Yeah, I'll look.
It was under 30 seconds. So
20.
So Tank goes into the finals. And so the next semifinal is supposed to be Pat Smith and the Russian Bear. They announced there's going to be an alternate. Back then for the tournaments, they always had alternate fights.
This is the fight I might have been looking forward to more because I really liked watching the Pat Smith fight.
Yeah.
And then wanted to see, like, because I knew the Russian was more of like a grappler.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see these guys go at it, but then.
Yeah. So Smith pulls out, and they put in Anthony Mad Dog Macias, who, if you didn't watch UFC 5, he didn't have a great showing in UFC 5. He matched up in the first round with Dan Severn in UFC 5, and he got suplexed unconscious.
Oh, my fuck.
He got, like back suplexed unconscious. Crazy. So, but anyway, he comes in as an alternate because he won a fight earlier in the night to win that spot, the alternate spot. And he fights the Russian Bear. Now, here's where the fucking bullshit controversy comes in, because he was a training partner of the Russian Bear. They were fucking best friends. They were training partners.
Yeah.
Same team, same management, same fucking everything. And that's the fight. And how did this fight go down?
9 seconds.
9 seconds.
Guillotine choke.
Guillotine choke when Anthony Macias, who has never, ever shot for a takedown in his entire fucking career, he's a Muay Thai fighter.
Oh, really?
Had no grappling experience
anything about
whatsoever. No grappling experience whatsoever. He's a Muay Thai fighter. Very decorated Muay Thai champion.
And he just runs
But
at the Russian.
no grappling experience, has never attempted a takedown on anybody in his entire life. And he shoots for a single leg. And Oleg grabs the fucking guillotine, and it's over in 8 seconds.
Yeah, falls
That
to the
was
ground,
a fucking work.
Pretty much taps the moment he touches the ground.
That was a work, and that pisses me off, because here you got Tank going up against two giant fucking dudes to make his way into the finals. And you've got Oleg, who's, I mean, he got a bye basically in the second round. That was a bye.
Yeah.
That was a fucking bye into the finals. That pissed me off a little. Would have been interesting to see, you know, even if Oleg beat Pat Smith, he was going to have a fight on his hands. Would have been interesting to see how Tank versus Oleg would have played out in that final if Oleg had to actually fight in the second round like Tank did.
If he had to do like a 3, 4, 5 minutes with Pat.
Yeah. What did you think of the final fight? Now, did you watch the super fight with Dan Severn and Ken
did.
Shamrock? Okay, we can skip past that.
You mean the wrestling match?
Yeah, yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I remember Ken Shamrock.
Is that the one that ended in a guillotine choke for Ken Shamrock?
It ended in a submission for sure.
Yeah, it was a guillotine. Yeah.
I think it was. Let me just
It ended
double-check.
with Dan Severn sitting flat on his ass, tapping the mat.
That sounds
Yeah,
about right.
and Ken Shamrock putting his fingers up in the air and walking around the cage like he's God's gift to fucking
Right.
fighting.
Just over 2 minutes in.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. They rematched in number 7, and it was a snoozer.
Well, this
Maybe
one,
it was number 8.
Well, did they just fucking grapple? They didn't
They
even throw a
did
punch.
nothing. They did nothing. In the rematch, they literally did nothing.
Worse than Woodley Thompson too.
Worse.
Jesus.
Worse. Yeah, it was.
And you want me to watch that next?
Well, the event itself.
Okay, 'cause
I mean, the tournament. Those are super fights, right? So
Yeah.
we're talking about the tournament at UFC 6. This was a super fight. Back then, they do the tournament, and then they do like a winner and a runner-up maybe of a tournament as a super fight, you know, just to add to the fucking card.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we can gloss over that. Shamrock
Yeah.
tops out Dan Severn pretty fucking quickly. Dan
Becomes a super fight champion.
That's right. First ever super fight champion.
he had the
Yeah.
belt.
At UFC 5, actually, Ken Shamrock fought Hoist Gracie for the first ever super fight champion, but they fought to a draw.
Right.
Yeah. So he was actually, Ken Shamrock is the first ever super fight champion in UFC.
And then we have the finals.
Then we have the finals. Give me your take on the finals. Tank versus the Russian Bear Oleg Taktarov.
So first of all, we'll start with how long the fight was.
Yeah.
Because most people might think it's a quick fight.
Was it 13 or 16 minutes?
17 minutes
17
and
minutes.
47 seconds.
Yeah.
So almost 18 minutes. And it was a real fight for about 4 minutes.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, they actually were fighting.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Because
then-
Tank
and then-
got pretty tired.
Right. And then
Yeah.
for 12 minutes, they just laid on top of each other and just rested.
Yeah. Survival.
Right. And then
Yeah.
eventually, Tank just got so tired that the Russian just... when I say slowly, I mean, I thought I might have accidentally hit the slow-mo button.
This was the slowest creeping fucking rear naked choke you will ever
He
see in your life.
slowly climbs on the back of Tank Abbott,
Yeah.
puts him in a triangle, grabs him by the neck, and then just rolls on his back. And then as soon as he gets it, Tank just...
Was it a triangle or was it a rear naked choke? It was a rear naked choke.
It was,
wasn't
sorry, it was a rear naked
Yeah,
choke, right?
yeah. Yeah, but you're right. That was the slowest creeping fucking submission maybe in UFC history.
It was like...
But Tank was so exhausted by the end of it.
It was like two snails fucking, how slow
How-
it took him to crawl.
How about the heart on Tank Abbott, though? I mean, for him to endure the 2 fights that he endured.
I thought it was hard kind of on both of them in that last fight.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
Tank was on top the entire fight.
Yeah.
So...
And Tank fucking clipped that Russian Bear a lot, man. Oleg had a fucking amazing chin on him back in those
when I
days.
started fast-forwarding in the fight was when they were both laying on the ground and both of them had their eyes closed.
Yeah.
Both of them had their eyes closed. And I'm like, what the fuck is
Nap
this?
time.
So then I just like kept fast forwarding by like minute intervals until I got to a point where I'm like, this is interesting.
But the thing is, they didn't have a minute off after 5 minutes, right? Like they're fighting fucking straight.
Yeah, they did
There's
fight
no
for
rounds.
17 straight minutes.
Straight fucking minutes, man. So, you know.
That is that's a 3.5 round fight.
And nobody trained cardio back in those days. Nobody had fucking idle portal in their fucking corner with the noodles and the strength and conditioning. You know what I mean? Like nobody had any of that shit, man. Really, all they did was whatever they were doing. But Tank, all he was doing was fucking drinking beer.
But I caught myself rooting for Tank Abbott.
Yo, of course, man. I think everybody was.
Yeah.
You know, he won the hearts of everybody after smashing those two giant fucking dudes.
Right, but then after about 14 minutes in, I just was rooting for a finish.
Just a finish, yeah.
I'm like, just fucking end this thing, man.
End it, yeah.
I'm like, I got a podcast in a few hours. Like,
yeah.
I need to...
What an interesting thing. Like, it must have been interesting for you. You know, you're kind of a newer fan.
I enjoyed it more than I thought
back.
I was going to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I thought, like, because I really like the technicality of fights. Like,
Sure.
I like watching good fights. Like competitive fights, but even on the ground, I like watching good fights. If guys are doing reversals,
technique,
changing position, all like to me, that's like one of my favorite fights to watch.
Yeah.
So I knew going in that I wasn't going to be seeing that.
You're definitely not seeing that.
So I was a little bit going in like, fuck, just a bunch of goofs. But it was like because the fights were just so crazy and so fast and just fucking haywire.
Yeah.
And a little bit that just how different times were back then.
Oh, yeah.
It was just interesting for me to go back, knowing that I was going to be talking about it tonight too.
Yeah, for sure.
That helped.
The cool thing is when you go back and watch those old ones, you'll see recurring characters like Tank, like the Polar Bear. So your homework this week is going to be UFC 7. You're going to be introduced to the King of the Streets, Marco Huas. The Polar Bear makes another appearance. There's all kinds of great shit that happens in this fucking tournament as well. And this is one of the last tournaments that UFC ever did. The next one, UFC 8, is the David versus Goliath tournament, and it's the last tournament they did. And it was in the first round was small guys versus big guys, and that was a very, very fucking interesting event. But UFC 7, that's your homework. Again, you're going to be introduced. This is when the UFC was introduced to leg kicks, and you're going to see how size matters nothing when it comes to technique. But the cool thing is, like I said, when you go back and watch these, you're going to see recurring characters, right? And what they did back in those days, they'd take, they started having ultimates. So they have these tournaments and these tournament winners.
Before, yeah.
And they'd have all these tournament winners and runners up or standouts in the tournament. Not necessarily all the winners, but, all the winners of maybe at least one fight. And they'd put them all in the ultimate to be, the ultimate champion.
This is a different belt.
Can't get enough ultimates in this fucking.
Hey, at least it's better than interim.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, you got some homework coming up after we get through some of these pertinent UFCs in the early days. You've got some extreme
this coming weekend?
You've got some extreme fighting challenges to watch.
What the fuck?
Like there were other fights going on other than UFC in these times that had even fewer rules and even crazier fucking fighters.
Are they on Fight Pass? Because I noticed there was a bunch of different, like there was Strike Force and stuff on Fight Pass.
Strike Force, yeah, but I'm talking about way long before Strike Force. Long before Strike Force was only fucking kickboxing.
Am I gonna be watching this in black and white, man?
No, not at all. But you're gonna be watching it on the edge of your fucking seat. I'll tell you that. There are some crazy fights that happen outside of the UFC during that era.
You don't really see that anymore.
No.
Not as much. Like when you see them, like just when we watch Zibit and the other fucking guy.
Yeah.
Just the other pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like that was one of those types of fights.
Yeah.
And it got everyone on their feet because we don't see it as much as like that UFC 6. Every single fight except for the very last one in the Ken Shamrock fight was a fucking banger.
Pure excitement.
Yeah, nonstop.
Yeah, bell to bell. Yeah.
It was great. And now you notice like there's a lot more waiting and counterpunching and a lot more. So I do see your point of view a bit now from the older stuff. Just being just two guys step in the middle of the fucking cage. Let's just throw punches till one of us goes to sleep.
That's right. And it's beautiful. And but so your homework is UFC 7. We'll talk about that next week. There's no fights coming up this week.
Am I getting graded on this shit? Or?
You're not getting graded on anything.
Oh, fuck.
You're not getting graded on anything. Let's fucking take
it
easy. You're definitely not getting paid for it.
Well, I'm getting paid $100 when I choke you out.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, Matt. I mean, let's... Jesus Christ.
What? I'm calling it, too. Rear naked choke. You're going to sleep.
Matt, listen.
What?
We're talking dollars.
Where do we start?
We're talking dollars.
How do we start?
Okay, we're talking dollars. If I had $1 for every dude your size who thought they could easily fucking beat me. Here's what I'm gonna.
Maybe we could start something.
Here's how I'll sell
We
it
could
to you.
start a challenge.
Here's how I'm gonna sell it
The
to you.
dollar challenge.
Here's how I'm gonna sell it to you. How good are you at math?
I'm all right.
You're all right at math?
Pretty good.
Okay. So you think you're pretty good at math?
I think.
All right. So let's take you, who's pretty good at math. What if you were to write a math test against someone who was a mathematician?
Oh my God! Are you comparing
How do you
yourself
think-
to a mathematician?
Well, listen. How do you think you'd do against a mathematician who's been doing math for years and years and years?
Pretty terribly.
Pretty terrible.
But I'm only gonna
This
lose.
equation is the same.
But I'm only gonna lose $1 to a chance to win 100.
That's true.
So the odds are in my favor.
Listen, I'm looking forward to it.
I don't know if I can say the same.
Matt, your homework this week is UFC 7. Man, you don't even know what's coming your way.
Lucky number 7. Let's go.
Once you get through some of these UFCs, there's still fucking Pride to get through.
We gotta go through the whole what is it?
You just looked at me
What
like
do they call that?
like I was talking a different fucking language when I said Pride.
I've heard of Pride. That's just kickboxing, isn't it, or Muay Thai, or is that full MMA?
See, exactly.
I know
You
it's
got a
in-
lot
I know
to
it's in
learn,
Japan.
Grasshopper.
It's in Japan, right?
You're going to learn it on the television. You're going to learn it on the mat. You're going to learn it everywhere.
Fuck. Well, if you're interested in hearing me learn all these fancy things, send us an email.
Oh, Jesus.
thescrapcast@gmail.com.
What
We're
if I
also
turn
on
this up a little bit?
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're on it all. Still got the Scrapcast.
We fucking shit.
You and me, buddy.
Me and you.
I do all the work, but
All right.
your name's on it.
I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to spending your fucking dollar. That's what I'm looking forward to, man.
Wait till the dollar days. Get yourself a coffee.
All right. I'll see you next week.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.